Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Metalhawk. Go ahead and put him off to the side real quick because look at the box, which, yep, you can see right there is jet mode, front and center, Legacy Evolution and Transformers and Generations and all that stuff. On the top here you have, of course, the QR code you can scan if you want for the tech specs. On the side you have some robot mode shots, including a close-up and whatnot, which look real nice. On this side, you have the line ride artwork, of course, and on the bottom, you have some copyrights and all that stuff. And on the back, you have some warnings and product shots, and of course, the Evo Fusion. You also have the instructions, which are pretty straightforward because there's really not a whole lot to this guy if you have a Cyclonus, for example. So anyway, Metalhawk. Metalhawk, yeah, new version of Metalhawk, which... this will actually be the third one I've ever handled. I've never had the original, but in there that was a Japanese only release thing. But anyways, Metalhawk is, well, you can see here, he's got, he's actually pretty cool looking, actually, I feel. But, you can see his silver face and blue eyes. You got the, kind of the goldish yellow chest with the, red and the Autobot symbols. You got some blue on his arms, the red wings there. Some gray intakes, I guess, on his shoulders. You got some gray there for his thighs. You got some silver, red, and blue down there. His feet, feet are red, and all that stuff. You got some fins and the backside and everything. And some of this might look familiar because, well, yeah, it is basically a remold of Kingdom Cyclonus, which good mold to choose, I would feel, because it's a good mold in the first place. A couple changes. Some of the changes I'm not really super fan of, but hey, still really good mold overall. But yeah, this is another Metalhawk. I know a lot of people kind of been, I guess, Metalhawk's been all over the place. There's the Titans Return one, which was an exclusive. There was the Power of the Primes one, which is a little guy, and now there's this one. So, I really like this one overall. Again, it's a really good mold to start off with, so it's already in favor of it. But yeah, a couple of accessories. You have, well, his guns, two of them. They're in the test in that gray plastic, and whoop, drop that one. But yeah. Those can peg into his hands like so, if you like. On one hand, this one's a little looser than the other one, but you can have two guns if you want, or you can take the guns and here they're little tabs and they're offset from each other, so you can then peg the guns together and now have a double-barreled gun. And then you can also have a sword, which simply you can just go in there, and now he's got a sword and two guns, which that's pretty cool. Storage-wise, you can store these. This got a peg right there, which you can peg in the back if you want. Pretty straightforward, as angle or straight down, whatever you want. You can do all that stuff. These storage, well, I guess you can peg them like on the shoulders or something, but you could also use what's for the alt mode. You can separate them and also just kind of put them here if you want. That's a nice bit of storage, I guess, although kind of messes with the feet a bit, but not too bad. So, there's places to store the weapons if you like. Yeah. Articulation-wise, head is on a ball joint. Well, I think it's a double hinge thing. It's like left and right, up and down. I got that weird neck thing that that mold has, plus the on the ball joint itself. So you got left, up forward, up and down. You got the forward and back on the neck, and you also have the side to side tilting there. You have full rotation at the shoulder. You have outward that far. You have the bicep swivel. If you want all those, get a little limited because it bangs into the wing a bit. Although outward, that's fine. You got that. Nothing at the wrist except for the inward from transformation. A waist, you do have a waist swivel. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Yeah, waist swivel right there, which works really well. Hips go forward that far and back that far and outward that far, so full splits. He has a very tight thigh rotation. You also got the weird knees that Cyclonus has, which means there can be a void there, but you can do the knee bends and leave a bit of a void there. Getting it lined up sometimes is a little bit of a pain. Also, there's that deck detailing again. And down here at the feet, you do have a bit of forward, not really a lot of back, and you have ankle tilt. So there you go. Metalhawk, I think, looks really nice overall. May not be metallic here. That's something that some people complain about. This is not metallic. I don't mind so much, but I don't know. yeah, I think it just generally looks pretty darn good. This mold was a good mold to use because it's a good, well, it was good in the first place, and it's still good now. The only thing is, yeah, unlike Cyclonus, he has these just voids right here for the wrist hands, which Cyclonus still sealed up. These don't fold up anymore. You can actually see the molding on these wings. You can see some molding for like the original stuff that no longer folds up or anything. So that's a bit of a bummer. But he still cleans up really well, and yeah, you still have, you know, pretty much a lot of the same trappings as the Cyclonus mold. Anyway, real quick, some comparisons. I don't have the Titan's Return one anymore. I sold that off, but I still have the Trigger Happy mold. So pretend this one having a gold chest and all that stuff, and you kind of get an idea. Unfortunately, I sold that off, so yeah, you just kind of get this is what you're gonna get. Here's the Power of the Primes, Metalhawk. Actually, yeah, this is the other thing, which is they kind of abandoned the whole. A lot of the other Pretender guys were like, you know, had the. They do the whole thing with the inner robot, or the robot became the outer shell, or the robot's now the outer shell design, and the inner robot's kind of ignored, and whatever. Now they kind of abandoned that for this one because this guy actually showed up in the anime, and yeah. So they abandoned that idea. Now this instead. So instead of this, you get this design because that's what they did in the anime. And I guess they wanted to appeal to the Japanese audience too. And here he is with Cyclonus. Yeah, you can see a lot of the similarities there. The leg, particularly in the legs and the arms. But also you can see how significant remolding they did for like the chest and all that stuff. Got that. And here he is next to Earthrise Optimus, just because he's actually kind of tall next to him, which is interesting. So yeah, that's comparisons. Transformation is actually not too difficult. It's actually very similar to Cyclonus. What you want to do here is take the fists and rotate those into the arms, like so, like that. Now here you want to take the wings here in this, you know, unaccordion them and bring them back out, and they'll of course tab into the sides of the forearms right there. Yeah, there's a tab right here, which will go in that slot right there. If it cooperates, there we go. Get that all squared away. Now here, we're going to go ahead and take the chest here and bring that forward. Then bring these out. Bring the arms out and back like that. Then take this part and, of course, bring that back. So, rotate this around. Unfold the nose cone and click into place. Go ahead and then rotate this stuff back up and close that all back up. Of course, helps if this thing does not get out of alignment process. Like that. Get that all rotated up and then rotate that back. Close that back up. And then down here at the legs, what you want to go ahead and do is open this up and open that up and then put the foot in and close this back up, like so. Open that up, put the foot in and close that up like there. Take the legs and then tab them together like so. And then take the knees here and they'll collapse into that right there. Make sure to bring the angle those down so then you can take this part and rotate that around. Bring this up and tab this into the back right there. And then right here, bring these down and there's the tab right here which will go into the slot right there. Bring it down like that. Like so, and then bring that and tab that in, like so. You're almost done. These will now become the tail fin, you know, extra tail fin stuff. And again, make sure you know these tabs right here will go into the slots right here. Like that. And like this. And there you go. There's Metalhawk and his alt mode. And yeah, transformation, you saw, you know, it's pretty much a somewhat simplified version of the Cyclonus' transformation. Some things to change, you know, like this does, you know, these bits don't like spin around and peg in there, all that stuff, you know. So you got those changes. Also, the nose cone is handled differently, and so on and so forth. But a lot of the, you know, still see the same core DNA of the transformation. So it's still pretty fun, even if it's a little simpler. The other thing is, in this mode, he has no landing gear, really. Yeah, he doesn't have any landing gear anymore. There's kind of stuff somewhat molded in there, but like, yeah, he'll sit just fine. There's no Tamashii stage support here on the bottom side. He has Tamashii stage support on the back, but yeah, you can see the jet is kind of odd one. It's kind of weird because I kind of like it, but I also know a lot of people really don't like it. He's also got like 4 intakes there, which is interesting, but he does have like 4, I guess, thrusters there, and also, by the way, those are all blast compatible, so that's something. Yeah, I generally like it, but I'm also like a lot of people like talk about. I think it's somewhat faithful to the original. I've seen pictures of it. I don't have it, but obviously, but somewhat faithful, but also, you know, modernize it and makes it less, well, kind of blocky and goofy looking. So it does have some of the goofiness of it, but like somewhat more streamlined. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, it looks overall pretty good. Only things you have down here you can just see, well, it's just kind of a folded up robot, but that's a common problem with jet transformers anyway. Yeah, you can also take the sword here, and there's two tabs right there, and they could go in 2 slots right there, and, you know, just have it, you know, pointing whichever way you want like that if you like, you know, just kind of more storage. And yeah, I don't know, I like this. I know some people are kind of down on it, but I think I generally just, well, still really like the jet mode, even if it is like kind of weird looking, but so does the original. The original was a weird looking jet too, so I'm not really too cut up about that. Yeah, generally pretty good looking. Anyway, got more comparisons. Again, here's Trigger Happy. Again, just to give you an idea there. Again, pretend this one has more gold on it and whatnot. And of course, Cyclonus, which, yeah, you can see the differences between the two, like a huge difference in how they look, even though they have the same basic structure, which is interesting. Like, yeah, like different nose cones, different wings. Again, he has landing gear, he doesn't. They molded, so they molded the things different. This, you can see, again, you can see that like a robot kind of underneath, but it's much more hidden compared to this one. So yeah, you can see big difference there. Which is clever reuse of the mold. So, should you get him? Well, I rather like him. I think it just, again, it's slightly, it's not as good as Cyclonus. Again, a lot of the changes, you know, they got rid of a lot of the cool transformation. It's a simplified transformation. Cyclonus is just a cool character in general, and he's purple. But it's still a good mold overall, just not as good. So it's, I think, still worth at least checking out or thinking about. But, you know, I know it's going to put off some people, and his simplification and whatnot might turn some people away as well. But he still, I think, looks good, and I think it's still worth checking out. Overall, he's just not the best version of this mold by far. And also, I think it's also one of those things. Also, if you have the Titans Return Titan or Metalhawk, I don't think this one is going to really sway some of those people, because that's a really good deluxe. Remember, that was a really good deluxe, unless you just really want your ankle tilts, which there you go. But yeah, it's a solid figure, and it might be a good for, you know, because the Metalhawk from that was kind of more difficult to get. So if you want a Metalhawk that's also not just a Titan, or yeah, was it Prime Master? Yeah, this is a solid figure. I think it's a solid and a good looking robot. Still pretty good transformation, even if a little simplified. Still, I think a good alternate alt mode, although some people disagree on that. So there you go. You see what you see. You know, make your decisions from there. So that's it for this one. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter, my Nemesis Prime 1. Check out my co-host.org/Nemesis-Prime, and check out my Ko-fi, my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.